Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back with another 1,000 Pound Sisters review. I need to know at the top of this episode, what are we thinking here with this whole Amanda and Tammy situation? Because I have mixed thoughts, some of which you may not agree with, but I'm always going to tell you all my opinion. One thing that I have to say before I forget it is I like Tammy, but some of Tammy's comments made me see little glimpses of the old Tammy, and I didn't really care for it. So let's go ahead and get into it. We pick up with the sisters fussing and cussing at each other. Amy is walking down the street because when she's upset, she's decided that she just has to flee the scene. Tammy is in the van crying. Chris and Misty are standing outside talking to each other. Brittany was still in the house talking to Amanda. So Amy ends up coming back, lets Tammy know that she just had to go because of how upset she was. And Tammy fills her in on what happened. She says, look, all I was trying to say, but I kept on getting cut off by all of you, was that I didn't want this to turn into a competition because I tend to beat myself up more if I fail. Amy kind of feels the same way, saying that these type of competitions mess with her mental and she just can't take it. Let's say that I believe them when they say that this type of situation does that to them. The major problem here is it didn't have to turn into all of that, but the siblings don't respect each other enough to hear each other out. Tammy and Amanda have unresolved issues. Apparently, Tammy and Amy have unresolved issues with the older siblings because they feel like it's always been us against them. So this turned into something that it shouldn't have really turned into. Tammy feels like Amanda treated her like trash and that no one tried to stop it, so she's done. I feel like they are both to blame for the way that that situation escalated. I don't think that Amanda should have been yelling at Tammy. I don't think that Tammy should have been cussing at Amanda and saying things like, you around here spreading your legs to everybody. I don't think that Amanda should have said, I was going to kick you can get out. I think that there's things that they both did were wrong. But Tammy's problem, in my opinion, is she doesn't see that she has faults as well, because you all are having other problems and you aren't addressing it. So Tammy, you did come in with a little bit of a negative energy and you and Amy were kind of on guard, but it's because you haven't addressed the other situation. We then get the pity party from Amy and she starts crying, talking about how they don't listen to her and how they don't respect her and how they've treated her badly for years. I get tired of Amy when she does this because I often feel like it's a pity party competition. Like, if they're going to feel sorry for Tammy, I want them to feel sorry for me too. And it just, like, the way she cuts it off and on doesn't seem like it's genuine to me. But then part of me wonders, okay, is that something that's going on with her mentally? Because she has a lot of stuff going on. But I can't sit back and look at her and relate to her when she's having this pity party about this situation when they've all had their own issues. She says that, they've treated her badly for years, but she can't do anything about it. She can't go. She can't be done with them because she needs other people's help. I get that Amy has a visual impairment. I get that there's something there. But Amy is capable of doing so many things that I feel like she doesn't allow herself to do, or that she takes, like she doesn't have enough pride in herself to do those things. A judge has allowed you to get primary custody of your kids. So obviously the judge thought that you were capable of doing things on your own if that judge granted you the custody of those kids. You have to figure out how to navigate the same way you adjusted when you became a single parent in terms of the kids. Utilize resources that are outside of your family. There's programs, there's things that you can sign up for. They aren't broke. They're getting paid. If you look at them and see, you can tell that they're not wasting their money on frivolous things like designer bags and stuff like that. So what are y'all doing with the money? Because you've been on for several seasons now. I think you would have a little bit of a stash. Tammy says, at this point, Amanda is dead to her. She better not call her or text her or anything. I feel like she went too far by saying that. She says she can do better without her. I'm all for you feeling the way that you feel, but don't say things like so-and-so is dead to me, because there is power in the tongue. And if something were to happen to either one of them, both of those sisters would be hurt. Because Amanda says something similar too. Amanda then comes outside because she's upset that the siblings don't ever have her back and that they don't stand up for her. So she's fussing with Misty and Chris that Tammy is hateful and mean to everyone and they don't do anything about it, that she's entitled and she's this and she's that. And she says that at this point, if Tammy is on her deathbed, don't call her. She then goes back in the house. They take things too far. I don't like it. I don't like that it gets to that point. I know later on Amanda uses the excuse of her medicine and being upset as to why she said the things that she said, but you can't do that, especially in the capacity that they did. It was just too much. So it's the next day. Amy comes to check on Tammy. Tammy says she's alone, she feels alone even though she knows she's not alone. And she just can't believe that Amanda would say what she said to her. I understand that Amanda said some things, but Tammy isn't innocent in this situation. And the way that she's speaking as if she didn't play a part in this as well. But you all got to tell me what you think, because in confessional, Tammy is saying things that I'm not quite sure about. It comes off as like she's extremely entitled, like the family owes her something. She keeps saying that Amanda went too far and Amanda is jealous because the spotlight isn't on her and that she's lost a lot of weight. And because of that, she's not the pretty sister anymore. I don't know how to tell you this, but weight alone doesn't equate beauty. So you can lose as much weight as you want to. All of them can. If your insides aren't beautiful, in my opinion, neither will your outsides. And a lot of them have things that they need to work on that come across as very flawed, and I don't like it. Apparently, Amanda allowed Tammy to live with her before. And Tammy says that Amanda kicked her out because she said something that Amanda didn't like. And knowing that alone, that's where Tammy made the mistake. If you had already been kicked out for whatever reason, I would never put myself in a situation where I'm back with somebody or back in someone's household who previously kicked me out when they didn't like something that I said or did. You've made enough money from this show that you should be able to get your own place. I get that she was in rehab for some time, but she was still filming and doing things while she was there too. Tammy should have enough to at least get herself an apartment. Tammy says that she's mad at Misty too, because Misty has not really checked up on her since she's been back from rehab. Last time I checked, Misty also had her own surgery and had her own situation to deal with. And Misty also has a child that needs additional help. Like, she's a caregiver for one of her children. So why are we acting like Misty just has to sit there and be making sure you're good all the time? You're in a much better place than you you were. But Tammy is entitled because she's talking about how before she would come back, come and check on her at least once a week, and they talk on the phone all the time. And then after about 3 months, not just Misty, but Amanda stopped coming over as well. Amanda was doing all of this and helping you out while she was going through her own divorce. Same thing with helping Amy while she was going through her own divorce. Why do these ladies feel like the whole family has to stop everything for them just because they're going through something? Got a lot of family that's going through various things, and they're not taking it personally that I'm not on the phone with them 24/7 walking them through certain situations, because they understand that the same way that they have things that's going on in their life, that I have things that's going on in mine. But Amy and Tammy feel like, they're being slighted. And Amy says, when you think about it, Tammy feels abandoned. She's accustomed to having, the family be there for her. Amy's like, well, push comes to shove. If you need a place, I have a room in my house. And Tammy's like, no offense, but I don't want to be in your house. I want to get out of Kentucky. If you want to get out of Kentucky, then move. Because you have the mindset, Tammy, that everybody is supposed to cater to you, and that is not their job. They've done it long enough. So go ahead and go where you have to go. We come back from break. Amy's grocery shopping. She's making a white chocolate shrimp Alfredo. Sounds gross. Watching her cook it was grosser. She tells the sales associate that she is making it. She needs chocolate for it. And the sales associate is looking at her like she's crazy. I noticed that while Amy was in there getting out this stuff, that Amy did a great job reading the labels. And as she was reading them, I'm like, Amy is capable of so much more than she realizes, because you're sitting here reading the labels. So there are things that you can do. We see Amy at her house making the white chocolate Alfredo with shrimp, spinach, and cauliflower. I saw whole milk and other things as well. Looks like it's definitely going to be a trip to the bathroom. I also saw how junky her house is. You got to do better. The fact that they put the camera at angles to not show it, but sometimes we still see things. You got all that house. Why is it so junky? Why is so much stuff in what looks like your dining room area just piled up? Like, clean up, girl. Her plan is to make this nasty Alfredo and give it to Amanda. She says that she wants to talk to her. So this is kind of going to be like a peace offering. Tammy is sitting there saying, like, you want to do all that for her, but her kids can cook for her. You don't have to do it. Then she's like, but if you want to do it, go ahead. She tells us that she hopes it gives her the runs. Next thing we know, Amy is crying again because she wants Tammy to taste the food. And Tammy's looking at her like, I really don't want to taste it. And she's like, can you please? I just really would feel honored if you would taste my food, because all of you guys say that I can't cook. And Chris says that I burn water, and Misty and Amanda, they say I can't cook. And I want to take this to Amanda and be like, B, look, I did this. I don't understand what's going on here. What am I watching? Because later on she pulls that again and the man is like, I never said you couldn't cook. So what are we talking about, Amy? Because if you really want to prove to your sister that you could cook, then I would think that you would take it more seriously and you wouldn't add chocolate to Alfredo as a way to prove that you can cook. If you wanted to prove that you could cook, you would do it seriously, take it from scratch, and not add random ingredients like sugar to a dish that's meant to be savory. Anyways, we find out that Tammy has given her sister notice and told her that she's going to be out by the end of the month. So, what? Tammy's sitting there watching her, and she's like, you already know how I feel about Amanda. You're taking time to do this for Amanda. What if Amanda doesn't want to hear you out when you come to talk to her? And Amy's like, if she doesn't want to hear me out, I'm done. I noticed that Amy's energy when she talks to Tammy about Amanda and Amy's energy when she talks to Amanda about Amanda is very different. Keep the same energy, Amy, because you're sitting there talking like, well, be this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Then you get in front of Amanda and you're like, I just want you to be proud of me. Pick which it is. So it's been a week. Chris and Misty check in on Amanda. She doesn't remember a lot of what she said, so she claims from the day with the argument, what she said to Tammy, but she hasn't talked to either one of them. I wonder if she's saying that as an excuse, because I'm not blaming medicine for that, or if it's a thing where she kind of blacked out because of how angry she was. Either way, you saying you don't remember it doesn't excuse it. Amanda says she got pissed with some of the things that Tammy was saying, especially with the things that she said about her sons. The truth is the truth. If your sons are over there messing up the house and you don't even have the courtesy to fix a window or have them clean up the glass when they break the window, she has every right to say that they're tearing up the house, because that's what it sounds like they're doing. She's like, so given everything that Tammy's been saying, and then how she was saying what she said to me in the house, that's why I told her to get out of my house. But if Tammy wants to stay there, she can. I just feel like I deserve an apology. I love her, but I'm going to keep my distance from her. We already know she's not planning on apologizing. We then get to Chris and Brittany. It's November. Chris lets us know that on November 1st, that Brittany starts decorating for her favorite holiday, Christmas. So they're putting out gifts. We find out that Chris is buying and or bought the house next door to fix up. It is a rental. He wants Tammy to move there if she can't find anything. Brittany's face in that moment says it all. She does not want Tammy bringing that drama and her need over to her home. She clearly wants her to find a place. And let's be real, Tammy should find her own place. For over 20 years, she's been getting places through other people. It's time. Brittany isn't feeling it. She thinks Tammy should live with Amy. She doesn't want this situation that happened with Amanda to then happen with them. But she's like, if she has to move here, then she can. Chris says Tammy has lived with everybody over the past 20 years. That at one point, she first was living with him. She didn't like what was going on at his house, so she moved out and she went to Amanda's. She stayed with Amanda. Her and Amanda got into it. Then she went to her mom's. Her and her mom got into it. Then she went to Amy's. We saw them get into it. Then we saw her move next door. So there's a lot of history there. He says he doesn't want Tammy to be homeless. Is she going to be homeless, though? She can easily find an apartment. She has money to get it. I don't know what apartments are like in Kentucky. I don't know if it's a thing where they're hard to find right now, or if they're like where I'm at, where they're extremely overpriced and it's better to do a private rental. I don't know that situation. Either way, she has options. It's not like she doesn't have options. And if it's really that bad, she could go stay with Amy for a month or two until she figures it out. After all, Amy was just with her for the past 6 months. So what's another month or two? Brittany ends up, agreeing to it. Chris says he won't let Tammy being nearby cost him his marriage. We then see Amy go to Amanda's house with her white chocolate chip Alfredo. The fact that y'all are talking about trying to lose weight and you give her something as fattening as Alfredo with all the pasta noodles and stuff and the sauce and the cream, and then on top of it you add chocolate to it. Are you really trying to help your sister? She comes with the Alfredo. I personally wouldn't eat anything from that girl. Amanda takes her finger, tries a piece. She's chewing for a good little moment. And Amy's like waiting in anticipation to see what she thinks. And she says, it's fire. I don't believe it. I don't believe it's fire, but okay. Because Tammy tasted the same thing and that was not her response. Part of me feels like Amanda wanted her to make her feel good because she didn't keep eating a piece. She closed that thing back up. It reminds her, she says, of a mole. Next thing you know, Amy is crying again because she's happy because she was so worried and she just wanted to prove, herself to Amanda because they always say she can't cook. And this is where Amanda's like, I didn't say that you couldn't cook. She says, well, okay, mostly Chris. Amy, you just said that the whole family, it went from the whole family to just the older siblings to now it's Chris. Girl, what? Like, what are you talking about? Amanda says, look, you don't have to do anything to impress me. I admire you. You're my little sister. They talk about the fight. Amy tells her that the gym depresses her, because Amanda's like, I didn't know that you were upset about the gym part. I thought you were upset about me saying you were yelling in my ear. And she's like, no, it was the gym part. The gym depresses me. It takes away from my mental health, and it takes away time for my kids and time for me cleaning. I don't mean any harm, but Amy will come up with any type of excuse to justify what it is that she doesn't want to do. Because the gym might actually help with your mental health. It might actually give you a little bit of clarity, but you're saying, oh no, it depresses me. That's a different explanation. And I feel like if the gym depresses you, then you need to dig a little deeper to see what's really going on. She says if she goes to the gym, she has to find a ride, and then she has to find a babysitter. And Amanda's like, well, I was hoping that you would go because I was thinking we could work out together. I'm going to have to do physical therapy. And after we're done working out, we can go grab a Frappuccino. And I'm like, this is the problem. You're not supposed to be doing this stuff, Amanda. Like, this is why you're where you're at. And the people around you are doing so much better because you're over here talking about a Frappuccino. But I'm going to leave it alone. You want to go grab junk? Amy's talking about a sody instead of a Frappuccino because she doesn't want to go to the bathroom. Overall, Amanda apologizes to her and makes it clear, like, I'm not going to chastise you. I'm going to leave that alone. I just want to be your sister. But in terms of Tammy, I'm not worried about apologizing to her. I'm not thinking about that. But me and you are good. That's the end of that. On to this scene with this house. Chris, I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's better to just tear it down and start anew. But I don't know what the bones of the house are saying, so I'm going to be quiet. I just know that the moment that they entered that house, all I could think about was mold. I felt like we were in Mildew City. Like, just looking at the ceiling grossed me out because it has multiple holes in it where it's being cut out. I guess there was a leak or something of some sort. Chris says simple drywall can fix that up. The towels on the floor are torn up. Things are a little bit in disarray. Like they've been trying to gut stuff, or it was already like that. I'm not sure. Tammy says this won't be a permanent situation because she still does want to leave Kentucky, but it will work because she needs help with her groceries and having someone take her places and stuff. So you supposedly bend over backwards for your family, but I see multiple instances where your family bends over backwards for you because you need someone to help with your groceries and have them take you places. There's Uber, there's Lyft, there's a taxi, there's Instacart, there's Walmart delivery, Kroger delivery, Food Lion delivery, Sam's Club delivery, Costco delivery, BJ's delivery. Like we can go on and on. Aldi delivery, about all the places that have delivery services for groceries. Does it cost a little bit of money? Yeah, for some places it does. But if you can't get around and if you don't want to drive, then this is the next step to you establishing freedom, is by you figuring out how to get these things done without having to rely on your family. You can't pick and choose when you need them and you want to act like they're not there for you, but yet you're sitting here saying that they are there for you because they help you do some of these things. Tammy says, I'm just, an appreciative person. And I'm just so happy to have a roof over the house, my head, as she's looking at the different aspects of this house. Brittany is looking at this place like, okay, this layout doesn't make sense. And we need to get rid of the bar that's in the kitchen so we can put a table in there, and we need to do this. And the things that she's suggesting all require additional time. She's like, I don't think that this can get done in 30 days. And Chris is like, okay, we're not doing all of that. If it's not ready in 30 days, you can stay with me for a month until we get it ready. He didn't even have a conversation with his wife before he said it. Brittany's like, there's already 4 of us in the house. Tammy will make 5. This thing is not going to be done in time. And she's looking at Chris and she's like, I just feel like this is like an eyesore and this and this. And he's like, it's not your house. And I was like, wait a second, Chris, didn't Brittany help you buy the house? Maybe she didn't. Either way, saying it's not your house didn't rub me right, but he quickly fixed it and was like, you're not going to be the one living in it. It's going to be Tammy living it, or, something like that. So that's that. They end up going outside. Tammy starts crying, saying that she doesn't want to cause issues for Chris and Brittany, and she feels bad. Chris is like to us, let's be honest, Tammy put herself in this situation because she is so stubborn, and all she had to do was talk this out with Amanda, but she didn't. Instead, she put in her notice, and now we are where we are, and we all know that history has a way of repeating itself, and that's how they ended this episode. If I left anything out that you like to discuss, feel free to put it down below. I gotta go ahead and get ready to watch the next show because for whatever reason, they decided to put 1,000-Pound Best Friends back on directly following 1,000-Pound Sisters. So until next time.